G'day Taipans fans. Well, it's been a bumpy start to say the least. We've had our heart ripped out 4 times, 4 games where there's a possession that separates us between the W and the L. But as I say, the next most important game is our next one. But right now, it's time for the next instalment of the Tropic Zone. Well, Dave and Inky from 102.7, they run a tight ship. The dynamic duo host a 10-question quiz for $1,000. And our vice captain, Lucas Walker, aka Waxy, was put to the test.
All right, Lucas Walker from the Taipans, the $1,000 minute, a competition we play every morning after 7:30. You fancy yourself as a bit of trivia buff? You know your trivia stuff?
Yeah.
Sure. Game face on again.
Yes?
Yeah.
Or not really?
I don't like to give too much away.
Okay, right. Get it?
All right, well, we're going to do a $1,000 minute with you now. See how you go. We've got 10 questions. You need to answer them all within 60 seconds if you do that. What do we get?
He just gets...
A pat on the back.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, our everlasting admiration. Are you ready to start?
Sure.
All right, Waxy, your time starts now.
In rhyming slang, what word does China plate represent?
Pass.
Diana Prince is the alter ego of which female superhero?
Pass.
Pass.
Which Australian bridge is locally known as the coat hanger?
Sydney Harbour Bridge.
Sydney Harbour Bridge.
Osteoporosis primarily affects what in the body?
The Bones.
Who played the role of Jordan Belfort in The Wolf of Wall
Leonardo
Street?
DiCaprio.
What name is given to the shellfish that cling to the bottom of a ship?
Barnacles.
What is the capital of Peru?
Lima.
A tree or shrub that sheds its leaves each year is defined as what?
Deciduous.
A series of religious wars in the medieval. Stop the clock!
Oh,
Stop the clock!
All right,
Stop.
stop the clock. So,
Right,
going to restart the
yes,
clock. at
once
the
I've read the
end of
question.
Okay.
That was my bad then. A series of religious wars in the medieval, got it out, perfect, period were known as what?
Pass.
In Greek mythology, what did Narcissus fall in love with?
Themselves.
What was the first question?
Back to the first question.
Hey!
China
Well, I
plate.
got a 6.
What was China plate?
So the ones you
Mate.
missed on, so you missed on
Yeah, I
three.
didn't see what the first bit you said.
In rhyming slang,
Oh,
what does
rhyming.
China plate represent?
Did you know that? Middle of the China plate. Diana Prince is the alter ego of which female superhero?
Oh, Wonder Woman.
Yes!
Wonder Woman.
And apart from that, mate, you got them all right. So apart from the faulty start,
I'll be calling in tomorrow.
Well, Waxy was pretty confident that he'd get 10 out of 10. Unfortunately, he couldn't come up with the chocolates. But another question later in the week was finish this line from Advance Australia Fair. For those who've come across the seas, we've boundless what? Now, we don't normally hear the second verse of the Australian National Anthem, but it's not the first time the Taipans have been caught out by that this year. At our pre-season game in Rockhampton, we were all lined up, and when we thought the song was finished, we all came in for the huddle, but the singer kept on going with the second verse. We were a bit red-faced to say the least, but we quickly got into a line to hear the rest of the song. Now in a new segment for Tropic Zone called Around the Club, we're going to detail some of the staff and hard workers that you don't normally hear about. First up, it's our weights coach Riley Marcella. I had a chance to interview him earlier in the month.
First thought was I was quite excited. Definitely felt very privileged to have the opportunity to train the boys. But also a little bit concerned about where the level of their fitness was at, their strength, their mobility. So I knew the main challenge was to identify all these main points in each and every player so I could write the best possible program for the fellas. Training the boys with them having 10 years experience with previous strength conditioning coaches, it was challenging for me to express my methods and strip the boys back to the basics and teach them, technique, cues that are, simple and effective, and get them to really rebuild into their pre-season and build back to a good level of strength and conditioning. being from Melbourne, you know, we all followed AFL from the beginning, and yeah, I've got a mate that's the strength conditioning coach of the Carlton Football Club, so you know, I speak to him on occasion, you know, just picking his brain, discussing strength and conditioning principles. You know, we've all got our qualifications in strength and conditioning, you know, I've got a degree in medical science. It is a very much a collective of different training methods and philosophies, yeah.
And Riley's been hard at work all season. We hit up their weights about 3 times a week, 4 times in the pre-season, but really during the season it's about maintaining strength throughout the year. Well, Thanksgiving happens on the 3rd Thursday of the month of November, and many of our players and staff are from the US and celebrate Thanksgiving as such, and many of the players' partners as well are from America. And I had a chance to sit down with Devon Hall to talk about all things Thanksgiving and the season as it is so far.
Obviously, man, giving thanks to, you know, you give the thanks to your family members, and I give thanks to, you know, God, and it's just it's an amazing feeling, and it's a good moment to be around family. That's probably the most amount of family I see in a while back home around food. So
it is around food. It is around food, because that's what I remember
100,
around Thanksgiving.
100%.
The food was everywhere, and I was going to town.
100%. Yeah.
What's the best thing then that gets served up at the whole household?
No, if this is going on like online, right? Somebody can see that. Nah, if I miss something, I'll get in trouble. So nah, man. My dad usually the one that starts to cook. My grandma and my granddad used to cook back in the day when my grandma was alive. Yeah, but my granddad doesn't cook anymore. And my dad takes charge of everything, man, because he can cook his tail off. Yeah. So probably like mac and cheese, and that's probably my favorite. I love mac and cheese. It's probably my favorite of his, mac and cheese, but like I'm probably missing some yams, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a whole spread, man.
Any cornbread or?
Of course, it's cornbread, but that's like my dad's cornbread tastes like cake, so it's like you got to stop eating it or you.
Living and playing overseas, how has that been for you, being away from home?
So the hardest thing is probably just being away from family. But I mean, I'm getting to play the game I love. I get paid to play, so I've just tried to, you know, let that sink in a lot, and I'm enjoying the experience, man. Like I'm getting to travel the world and play basketball. Like what else am I asking for? You know what I mean?
So even at college, you were still able to get home. I know it's about 4 hours drive from.
No, 2.5. Yeah, just 2.5. Yep.
I should know better. I was at the same state.
It's all right. Yeah, you're right there in Norfolk. It's all right. Yeah. Whenever I wanted a home cooked meal, I was 2.5 hours away. But my parents spent a lot of time up there because my brother played football there. So like they were there pretty much year round because football season and basketball season. So I saw a lot of them. They came up more than I went down to see them. So it was always good to see family. My brother was right there with me, obviously playing at UVA, and having that experience was amazing too. So.
What about the style of play? What have you noticed that's, how is this league different to college, let's say?
So we played a little interesting style. We played slow. We played slow and kind of play like a pack defense. We call it a pack line, but you know, playing there and then coming here and playing, the game is much more physical, a little bit faster, of course. Playing at the professional level, shorter shot clock, but the physicality of the game is the next level. You can play a little bit more with your hands without and actually get away with it without getting fouls called. So I'm enjoying that a little bit.
I've got some Aussie slang for you. So in the country now. You might have picked up on a few words. I'll throw some at you and just see if you know what they mean. So a cold one. You know what a cold one is?
Not a beer.
It's a beer, correct.
Yeah. Well, they say in America. My dad says, can you give me a cold one?
Yeah, okay, well there you go. We're on the same page. Yeah. Okay, bogan.
Is that like being like country?
A little, yeah, correct. So it's like a redneck or someone that goes around the shopping mall, no shoes on, checkered shirt. Right. That's a bogan. Yeah. Very good. So 2 for 2. Budgie smugglers. Have you ever heard of a budgie smuggler? So
I don't think I've heard anyone say that.
So budgie smugglers are speedos that you wear in the swimming pool. Right?
You don't have to worry about me.
Okay, crikey.
Who?
Crikey. Have you ever heard of that word before?
Is that like a surprise thing people say when they're surprised?
Correct. Crikey. Yeah. It's an expression of surprise.
Yeah, I think I've only heard
Well, Steve Irwin always,
Yes,
he
exactly.
was always saying,
Steve Irwin.
crikey,
Yeah.
he would get behind,
That's the only one I heard say it.
yeah, last one is Fair Dinkum. Have you ever heard of Fair Dinkum?
No, that sounds like a different language.
Let's say the Sydney Harbour Bridge is sometimes called it's called the coat hanger back in the day. They used to see it and someone goes, oh, fair dinkum. Like, is that true? So is that true? That's fair dinkum. Or if someone is like a model citizen, you know, he's fair dinkum, he's alright.
He's a good dude.
Yeah, he's a good dude. He's a good dude. Alright, that's all I got for you.
Appreciate
Thanks
you,
for
man.
having a chat.
For sure, man.
To all our Taipans fans out there, hang in there. We've got 7 series to play out. One of the series we're up 1-0 against Brisbane, and all the other series we're down 0-1 or 0-2. There's still plenty of hoops left to be played, but that is the bigger picture, and we're going to keep fighting. The fever window is now in full swing. For the Tall Blacks, Rob Lowe and Jared Kenny head off to Auckland to play a couple of games over there, and our very own Nathan Jow are heading down to Melbourne to be with the Boomers. Good luck, lads, and that's all from the Tropic Zone.